Savings versus investments. Hi, my name is Anuj Gupta. I'm an entrepreneur, mentor, and advisor, the founder of Tag Investments, a wealth management and taxation services firm having over 10 years of financial domain experience. We are licensed and registered with IRDA, that is Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, and MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Well, savings comes quite naturally to us. Right from childhood, we've been given pocket money, and then once we start our careers, we have a business income, we have a salary income, and we save. However, talking about some stats here, India is 17.5% of world's population, out of which only 24% are financially literate, meaning 76% of Indians do not know anything about savings or investments, or know very little about it. So we'll start with the basics here. Savings is nothing but a formula which consists of income minus expense. Income is what we get in our hand, whether it's business income, salary income, minus expenses, the expenditures which we do. So whatever is left is called savings. So are we trying to say savings bad? No, savings is good. We save for our uncertain goals, we save for uncertain events, we save for children's education, retirement, creating a retirement corpus. So the second question is savings enough? The answer is no. Why? Because there is something called as inflation. We do not take the inflation impact into consideration while setting and planning and executing our goals. So what is inflation? Inflation is the rise of prices in services and products which we consume on a year-to-year basis. So generally the inflation rate, if we talk about the statistics, it's almost hovering between 6 to 8%, which impacts us. And the savings rate is generally 3 to 4%, which a bank gives. And if we talk about some better saving products, it will give us a 5 to 6% return. Hence, there is a clear shift or a need to shift from savings to investments. Now, what are the investment options we want to talk about? So in investments, some of the financial instruments where you can invest is like fixed deposits, PPF, mutual funds. Then there are physical instruments like gold, real estate, where one can invest. So typically when we are talking about investments, one should look at, or one looks at the returns, the liquidity factor, and the taxability factor you should also consider. So in fixed deposits, the returns typically are 6 to 8%. In PPF, it's 8 to 9%. In mutual funds, we have the debt mutual fund schemes, we have balanced mutual fund schemes and equity mutual fund schemes, but typically it will range between 8 to 15% over a period of 1 to 10 years. Gold, it's mainly inflation driven. Property, there is no statistics, but it ranges between 7 to 12% again. Then as I told you, there are pockets of real estates where you can get double digits return as high as 20 to 30%, and then there are pockets of real estates where you can also get negative returns even in the long term. On the liquidity front, fixed deposits are highly liquid. PPF carries a low liquidity, mutual funds carry a high liquidity, gold a medium liquidity, property again a low liquidity. On the taxability front, fixed deposits are not tax friendly, so it's a no from our side. PPF are tax friendly, mutual funds are tax friendly, and they are inflation and index driven, so again it's tax friendly. Gold, it's inflation related, so probably the taxation is okay. Property, again it's indexation driven, so again from a taxation point of view it's an okay instrument. On the mutual fund side, just to brief you, there are mainly two instruments or two heads under mutual funds. One is debt and second is equity. In debt, there's something called a short-term capital gain and long-term capital gain. The short-term capital gain, which is if you invest and de-invest before 3 years, it will be capped or called as short-term capital gain, and the gains are clubbed with your income and taxed as per your income tax bracket. Long-term capital gain is something where you invest and de-invest after 3 years, where the holding period is more than 3 years. Then it is termed as long-term capital gain, and then indexation comes into picture, meaning that if you had invested 100 rupees and that money in 3 years became 130 rupees, so the capital gain is 30 rupees, but the indexation of 100 in 3 years became 125 rupees. So only the real return, which is 130 minus 125, 5 rupees will be taxed at the rate of 20%. That's in debt mutual funds. In equity based mutual funds, the short term capital gain is something where you invest and de-invest within a period of 1 year, and it is taxed at the rate of 15% of the capital gain. The long term capital gain in equity based mutual funds is 1 year, where you invest and de-invest after 1 year holding period, then it will be termed as long term capital gain. So the first 1 lakh rupees of gain which you make is tax exempt, and anything over and above 1 lakh of capital gain is taxed at the rate of 10%. So that was pretty much about the investments. So why we advocate that you should make a transitional shift from savings to investments, so that you can meet your financial goals and also beat inflation, which we call inflation beaten returns or real returns. So investments is one way where you can get inflation adjusted return, or what we term as real returns. Thank you so much for the watch. I'm sure you will have further questions related to savings versus investments. You can comment on this link below, or you can directly get in touch with us through our website, through our social media channels, and we can encourage and motivate you to save and invest more towards your financial goals. Thank you so much.